people who watch seasonal anime have probably heard of the 3-episode rule, where you give an anime up to 3 episodes before you determine whether you will drop it or complete it. And like most, when I got active in the anime community, I followed this rule and the rule to not drop things if I made it past the 3rd episode. But over the past year, I've tossed that rule aside because it honestly makes no sense to me whatsoever. I think the concept of trying something for an hour makes sense for some who may have a stricter mindset on what type of shows they like, as you might not get enough of one area to keep you interested and you may need 3 episodes to see how much a certain aspect of the anime will be there. But for me, as someone who loves any style of anime as long as the execution is well done, and I enjoy the visual presentation to the show, I can watch almost anything. But I'll also drop almost anything at a moment's notice. I've dropped shows in their last episodes. I've dropped anime within 3 minutes into the 1st episode. Really, I've dropped anime at points that most think I'm the devil, because either I was so close to finishing it, or I didn't give it a quote-unquote fair chance. And for the topic of this video, I'm going to explain why the 3-episode rule doesn't work for me, why there's no reason most who aren't limited to a certain style of a show can't figure out if they will enjoy something within 5 to 10 minutes of that 1st episode, and why dropping things should be enforced if you don't enjoy something. First things first, I am someone who enjoys any genre, any style of show, pretty much anything as long as the execution provides a solid story and visual presentation. I used to be a very close-minded person, and midway through high school and more so when I was in college, I changed and allowed myself to try anything no matter the target demographic or genre, and because of that I was introduced to a plethora of amazing stories young me would have never tried because he was a close-minded idiot. So because of this, I don't need 3 episodes to see if one particular area will be relevant more so than another in any anime. In the first 5 minutes, if I see an art style I enjoy, the voice acting is good, which in all honesty most modern anime do have, but if I see anything I like, be it a main character who seems intriguing, a conflict that actually has my interest, something that makes me laugh, or if I can see what it's trying to go for with the overall story, I'll finish the 1st episode. Because no matter how small it may be, if something hooks my interest, I'll carry on unless I feel like I don't need to watch that style of anime at that particular moment. Be it a slice of life moment or a crazy plot twist, as long as something hooks my interest, that's enough for me. If I see something in 5 to 10 minutes that I enjoy, even if that's the lowest or highest aspect of that episode, it means it's enough to keep my interest so I can carry on throughout the episode. But if I give something 5 to 10 minutes of my time, and I can't see anything that really stands out or hooks me, I'll turn the anime off and move on. Because as someone who is rather open-minded and enjoys a lot of content, if I can't find one thing in those few minutes to enjoy, I'm not wasting my time. I've recorded over 500 completed anime series, but I've tried the 1st episode to well over 700 series. Those other 200 were usually good enough to watch, but at a different time because I wasn't interested in that style at that particular moment, or it could also be because I just simply did not enjoy it. But so many people that I've talked to look at me like I'm Satan because I stopped watching something they liked and didn't give it that quote-unquote fair chance that it deserves. It doesn't matter if it has Kara no Kyokai level greatness later on. If I have to slug through content I don't enjoy, I won't watch it. Why would I make myself miserable slugging through content I don't enjoy so I might get to content I'll enjoy later on when I could just be watching something that I enjoy from the start? Which brings me to my next point. Dropping things in the anime community seems to be this taboo thing for unknown reasons, and in the early days I refused to do so because I thought you shouldn't thanks to the good old internet. The human lifespan is a short one. Sure, some people live 100 years, some 70, some 50, maybe even 20 or less. But no matter what, even if you become the oldest person on Earth who has ever lived, it goes by fast. And I like to live my life to the fullest doing things I enjoy. So if I'm on the last episode of something and it just pisses me off and I'm not having it, I'm not going to force myself to finish it so I can mark it off as completed on my Kitsu anime list. We come to anime for enjoyment and to have conversation with fellow fans alike. But we shouldn't force ourselves to watch something we don't enjoy because of this absurd no-drop rule. Now, if people do enjoy watching things that they despise, hey, power to them, you do you and I'll do me. But for the average Joe who wants to have fun and is bored or upset because the episode just sucks, stop watching it and watch something you enjoy. If you hear good things later on, maybe you'll pick it back up, but you shouldn't force yourself to continue it if you don't enjoy it. Time to me is a precious thing, and I don't think anyone should waste their time on anything they don't enjoy just so people in the anime community won't call them an idiot for dropping something. Even if something gets great later on, if I have to suffer through content I don't enjoy, then I won't appreciate that content when I get to it. so I won't watch past that content that I didn't enjoy a majority of the time. But when I do suffer through the content that I don't enjoy, I rarely have the same feeling as those who enjoyed it before, because I was miserable getting up to that point of the anime being decent or bearable. It really just is not worth it to me. And lastly, the most important part. How can someone pick out in 5 to 10 minutes if a show will be for them? Now, like I mentioned, I do like a lot of styles, pretty much any style as long as it was executed properly. But even if you only like action, romance, comedy, this should still all work for you for the most part, just maybe not to the same degree that it does for myself. I really don't see how it couldn't, as if you pay close enough attention, it really does tell you all you need to know within the first episode maximum. Take Hunter x Hunter 2011 as an example. I hear all the time it doesn't get good until the second arc. I enjoyed Hunter x Hunter within the first 10 minutes. The episode literally kicks off explaining the concept of hunters, then showing Gon catching a giant fish, showing the style of personality he has. He isn't a typical kid, he has a sense of adventure, and with the intro explaining hunters, you know he will eventually become one. Fast forward a few minutes, he leaves home and sets sail to the hunter exams, and you get this grand sense of adventure while on this vast ocean with plenty of characters around. I knew exactly what I was getting into story-wise, and the visual presentation was different than a lot of shonen series that I've seen. Not to mention, we literally start off the episode fishing, and that tells you this won't be an epic adventure 24/7, but there will be downtime and slice-of-life moments. But of course, there would obviously be fighting later on. I don't understand how people didn't enjoy Hunter x Hunter from the first arc, as it hooked me right off the bat, but I digress. Even if you only watch Hunter x Hunter for the fights, the first 10 minutes literally tell you this won't just be fights. If I didn't like Hunter x Hunter from that first episode, I never would have watched an entire arc like some to get to another arc that I might enjoy. To me, that's insane, but let's move on. Take Madoka Magica. I always hear how this takes 3 episodes for it to get good, because that's when it gets darker. But anyone who has even seen a glimpse of Sailor Moon would know something was off-putting about the visual design and character interactions within the first episode. This was one of the first anime I watched when I was getting back into anime as heavy as I currently am, and I knew nothing about this series, but within 5 to 10 minutes I was questioning, was this truly going to be a normal magical girl show, as this was giving me one weird-ass feeling. And even before you see the major death in episode 3, every time they were in magical girl form, you knew something was majorly off. So when episode 3 happened, that never shocked me, all it did was confirm exactly what I was expecting. And that's why I was invested from episode 1, but also the character interactions were just great, and that's what hooked me from the first episode. Steins Gate, I'm told, it gets good in the middle. I liked it from the first few minutes as I love the character interactions and the art style it chose for it. Even if I take this outside of anime such as The Walking Dead, this starts off with our main character Rick seeing a zombified little girl and having to shoot her. That piqued my interest as they showed me how human he was and what kind of world this truly was. Game of Thrones literally starts off the episode in the cold snow, searching for wildlings, and a White Walker immediately is introduced. Even if someone only likes one style of storytelling or genre, within those first few minutes to the end of the first episode, it's always shown me everything I would need to know for the overall series. It shows me the lowest aspect, but it also shows me the highest ones within those 20 minutes. Sure, things change and will introduce new aspects later on, but giving it an extra 2 episodes won't show you that much more than that first episode will, as generally when things get bad, it gets bad within the middle to near the end of the series. And I absolutely refuse to suffer through anime I don't enjoy in the attempt to see if I'll like it after this absurd 3-episode rule, as I come to anime for enjoyment. And of course, there have been times when I've watched a series and either in the last episode or few episodes in, I decided it changed into something I didn't enjoy, so I ended up dropping, and it's why I say, people should drop things at any point if you aren't enjoying what you're watching. As though I have seen the first 5 to 10 minutes of a couple hundred anime, I never watched anything past that. Generally, I just knew it wasn't something I wanted to watch at that particular moment. But every anime that I've seen, every anime that I've gone back to that I've dropped just to humor someone because they said I'd like it later on, I never did, in my opinion, never changed. I'd really like to say I have this weird gift for picking out anime, but I think if people just closely pay attention to the first 10 minutes of an episode, you'll see pretty much everything you need to determine whether you'll like the series or not. Now obviously if you're more strict to what you watch, you might drop things more than me, but I don't understand needing 3 episodes to see what type of show this will be and if you'll end up enjoying it. Giving it 3 episodes doesn't provide you much more than the first half to the entire first episode truly will give you. And that's why I totally understand action junkies who, if they don't see an explosion or crazy fight within the first few minutes, they turn it off, as that's what they enjoy if they don't want to slug through content to get to the action. Sure, for myself, I look for more than just action-based content, but that's the thing about humans. We all have different minds. But in a way, I can understand some people who might need 3 episodes to determine if it's their kind of series, but I also think that if more paid close enough attention to that first episode, you would see enough to determine if you'll like it, and you wouldn't need those extra 2 episodes. Because when things get to the point that I want to drop them, it has never been in the episode 2 to 3 mark. It's midway through the series, where it takes a different direction than I enjoyed, to near the end of the series. But hey, people seem to think the 3-episode rule is perfect for them, so carry on if it works for you. But maybe my video might get you to think a bit on if you truly need that 3-episode rule, because once I started thinking past it, I realized that I didn't myself. I get a lot of messages saying, try this until episode 3, or you didn't give this a fair shot, and if after watching this video it doesn't clear up why I don't watch past the first episode and get to episode 3 to tell if I enjoy something, I really don't know what else will tell you. But that's all for this video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. This wasn't an easy script to make, as this 5 to 10 minute rule, as I'll call it, makes so much sense, but I realize not many will understand how or why I do this, so hopefully this turned out well. Before you leave, please be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, as both of which help the channel and community grow. And if you're feeling extra generous, consider checking out my Patreon for many perks like early access. So until next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.